What stupid independence rule did your parents enforce that destroyed their lives? I was making mac and cheese for my siblings when my dad grabbed the pot and dumped it in the trash. Stop making them dependent, he screamed. From now on, you cook for yourself only, period. I stared at him in shock and rubbed my hand where it was splashed with the hot pasta water. My mom nodded along with him. Your siblings are too dependent on you. It's like you're their parent and not us. Stop undermining us and let us raise our own children. I'd been cooking dinner for my siblings Philip and Amber since I was 12. Every time my parents left for date night or decided parenting was optional. But now I was undermining them. I kept my mouth shut and cleaned up the mess in silence. My parents were so confident that they'd finally taught me a lesson about boundaries, but I knew exactly what was about to happen. The next morning I was making breakfast when Amber and Philip came down. What's for breakfast? Philip asked, grabbing plates. I can't make you anything, I said. Mom and Dad forbid it. They say I'm undermining their parenting. Amber looked confused. What? But you always make us breakfast. Not anymore. Ask Mom. So they ran to find Mom. 20 minutes later, the smoke alarm was screaming. Turns out Mom had tried to make scrambled eggs without using any butter. The eggs had welded to the pan like black cement. Since that didn't work, she attempted to make chicken nuggets, but she didn't know how to operate the oven and ended up turning it to max. The nuggets burst into flames. Actual flames. The fire department had to put out the fire. Ma'am, what exactly were you doing? The firefighter asked, staring at the charcoal. Making chicken nuggets, she reluctantly admitted. The humiliation on her face was a sight to behold. Next, it was Dad's turn. He wanted to make spaghetti, but thought all you have to do is put pasta in water and wait. He didn't even know that the water needed to be boiling. The dry noodles fused to each other, forming a solid pasta brick. Dad actually got a hammer to break it apart while Mom tried helping with sauce, but she just squeezed an entire tube of tomato paste directly onto the brick like toothpaste. Philip took one bite and threw up on the table. Meanwhile, I was eating perfectly seared salmon with asparagus. My siblings would press their faces against the kitchen door watching me. Please, can we have some? Amber begged. Ask Mom and Dad, I said. They're the parents, not me. By this point, Mom was Googling, is it illegal to not feed your kids properly? While Dad was trying to figure out if cereal with orange juice was edible because they'd run out of milk and didn't know how to make a grocery list. 2 weeks later, Grandma showed up for her surprise 70th birthday dinner with 20 relatives. Apparently, my parents forgot they had promised to host. When they remembered that morning, they panicked and started cooking at 8 a.m. for a 6 p.m. dinner. Dad thought he could speed things up with heat. He shoved a frozen turkey in the oven at 500 degrees to cook faster. The thing exploded at noon. Turkey shrapnel embedded in the ceiling. Meanwhile, Mom was attempting mashed potatoes. She forgot measurements existed and just poured milk until it looked right. What she got was potato soup. When Grandma saw the mess, she asked them, "Where's Casey? Casey always helps with family dinners." Mom's face went red. "Oh, Casey's upstairs. We have a new rule. Casey only cooks for Casey now." "What do you mean?" Grandma asked slowly. "We're teaching independence." Dad jumped in. "Kids today are too coddled. Casey was making the younger ones dependent." Dependent? By feeding them? Grandma's voice was getting dangerous. "It's about boundaries," Mom said quickly. "We're the parents, not Casey." Grandma turned to Philip and Amber. "Is this true? How long has this been going on?" That's when Amber exploded with anger. 3 weeks! They won't let Casey cook for us, and now we eat cereal 3 times a day, and Jake's tooth fell out and I haven't had a vegetable and the fire department knows our address by heart. Grandma couldn't even believe what was happening. "You stopped letting the only person who can cook feed these kids." My parents sat there sweating, unable to answer. Nobody was eating anything. Grandma stood up slowly and called out, "Casey, get down here!" I walked down with my perfectly plated dinner, herb-crusted chicken with roasted vegetables. Everyone stared at it, then at the disaster on the table, then at my parents. "You absolute idiots," Grandma said.